This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
The X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X-Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X-Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X-Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
And welcome to the X-Zone, everyone. I am Rob McConnell, and for the next 4 hours, I am your host. I am your guide as together we cross the time-space continuum to this place that I call the X-Zone. It's a place where people dare to believe and dare to be heard. It's a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. And the X-Zone comes to you Monday through Friday from 11 p.m. Eastern until 11, 12, 1, 3 o'clock Eastern in the morning, right here on the X-Zone Broadcast Network and our growing family of broadcast affiliates, including the Talkstar Radio Network, Mutual Broadcast Network, across Europe on Radio X and Euro Radio TV, and, of course, iHeartRadio. If you'd like to send me an email, xzone at xzoneradiotv.com, on all social media sites, X-Zone Radio TV. And if you'd like to find out the great programming we have available for you, 7/24/365 on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. My guest this hour is Jennifer Lopez, gang. That's right, the movie star. Well, okay, maybe I'm stretching it there. Jennifer Lopez, the astrologer, who is also the founder of Zodiac, the largest psychic service business in Ohio and one of the largest psychic networks in the country. Jennifer and her network of authentic psychics offer readings, sage cleansings, and tips for intuitive living, and maintain a large client base of Wall Street executives, media creatives, political influencers, and everyone in between who are gravitating like crazy to the psychic experience. And like the entertainer Jennifer Lopez, Jennifer's zodiac sign is also Leo. Joining me from Ohio is the astrologer to Donald Trump, Jennifer Lopez.
How'd you know that?
I'm psychic.
How did you? You are psychic. I didn't put that in my bio, I don't think.
Nope, you didn't.
Did I?
Nope.
Interesting. Yeah, Donald Trump is a Gemini, and Geminis are having, of all the horoscope signs, Geminis have the best long-term career forecast. And so, love or dislike Donald Trump, I'm pretty sure he was destined to have the job of his dreams. And this is apparently it, because he is a Gemini.
Well, I've got to tell you something. I love the man. I'm not an American. I'm a Canadian. I cannot wait until the United States takes over Canada and makes us the 52nd state.
I love it. I love it. He's a funny guy. He's funny like a Gemini. He bounces all over the place like a Gemini. Mm-hmm. And again, if you're a Gemini, if there are any Geminis out there, you have phenomenal career stars for the next 15 or 20 years.
But in order to have these phenomenal career stars, you must also be very good with your Twitter feeds.
You have to be good with your Twitter feed, which the Geminis are good communicators. So he's good at he's good with the social media. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? I really love your energy. You and I were chatting off air before we started tonight. Man, you've got
Thank
energy,
you.
and man, it's really nice talking to you.
Thank you.
Now, the Zodiac shop. You were telling me that
Yes.
it's a group of professionals that you work with, that you manage, I
Right.
guess.
Yes. We have up to, and I say up to because they come and go, but we have about 14 psychics at any given time that have all read on me as a psychic reading before they're hired on to assure their accuracy. And we offer psychic readings in various styles. So we offer palm reading, tarot cards, astrology, numerology. We have mediums. We just like to be able to offer people an array of psychic reading styles because not every style suits every psychic reading. So, or psychic desire. Some people want to get in touch with their grandparents or somebody who's passed on. So in that case, a medium is excellent. Other people want to just kind of see what's going on in their life and what life has in store for them. For that, I recommend palm reading. Tarot cards happen to be great tools for specific information. So if somebody wants to know something specific, the details of a situation, I would advise that they turn to the tarot card.
All right, Jennifer, please stand by. You and I have to take a brief break here. Exo Nation. Jennifer Lopez is our guest. She is the owner and founder and chief astrologer at the Zodiac Shop, www.zodiacshop.net. And we'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X Zone. I wanted to be a psychic reader once, but they said I could only be a medium, and here I am, an extra large. We'll be back. Don't go away.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
I am Dr. Carl O'Helvey, founder, president of a new cancer foundation focusing on evidence-based physical, mental, and spiritual interventions, including natural cancer cures, prayer, meditation, affirmations, nutrition, and other related holistic cancer prevention and cure modalities. These are used in cancer education, research, and financing care. I ask for your help to continue this important work by donating at www.holisticcancerfoundation.com.
Hello, I'm Pete Marsh. With my daughter Justina, we will be presenting the new radio show, Too Good to Be True. If something seems too good to be true, it usually is. But with the help of Justina's amazing gifts, we're going to gain insight into questions that don't yet have complete answers. Have you wondered who built Stonehenge and for what reason? Why are crop circles found in the same region as Stonehenge and elsewhere? Are crop circles a hoax, or are they created with technologies that we have little knowledge of? Who built the pyramids in Egypt and also in other countries? How and why were they built? Was the Titanic switched with the Britannic as part of a gigantic insurance fraud, or for more insidious reasons? What caused the Tunguska event when trees were flattened over an 800 square mile area in Siberia? Will the new insights be too good to be true? Well, that will depend on what you are prepared to believe. Please join us as we start on this journey together. For more information on Too Good to Be True, visit www.xzbn.net.
Little children aren't the only ones afraid of the dark. Millions of soldiers return from war zones with PTSD, anger, frustration, fear, and loneliness, much of which surfaces during the darkness of the night. You have the chance to change the lives of these American heroes. Songs and Stories for Soldiers.us provides free MP3 players for these men and women. With a list of 3 million songs in 16 different styles, 100,000 audiobooks, and 30,000 old-time radio programs, every veteran can find something to soothe and comfort them at no cost. All our players contain an 8-hour audio program designed to help veterans fall asleep. With 1,500 plus vets now participating, it's our goal to deliver 10,000 audio players this year. Go to our website at songsandstoriesforsoldiers.us. Help us help a veteran make it through the night.
Jennifer Lopez is my special guest, X-Zone Nation, and Jennifer is the... Stop it. She is
the other Jennifer Lopez, right?
Right. Welcome to American Idol. There you go. Jennifer Lopez, owner, founder, and chief astrologer of the Zodiac Shop, www.zodiacshop.net. Jennifer, let's start at the beginning because you never know. That's always a good place to start. Okay. So how would you describe a psychic reading?
So people come to a psychic reading for a variety of reasons. Mm-hmm. Half of the people, I think, come in because they have a specific question or something that's kind of bugging them, and they want to see what the psychic would have to say. A psychic is really just somebody who's tapping into your energy or your spirit world. We believe that we all have kind of, maybe around 7 spirit guides around us at any time that are always trying to send us messages. And so people want to kind of get clarification of of something they're thinking about or a position they should take in life. And so it's always kind of fun to get that psychic input. The other 50% of people who seek a psychic reading seek it to get in touch with somebody who's passed on. And so a lot of times if someone has passed and there's been some unsettling circumstances, or it doesn't even have to be unsettling circumstances, maybe somebody just misses somebody terribly, they go to see a psychic medium who can oftentimes get in touch with the person who's passed on, or at least feel some messages that tell them the person is still around. And those messages end up being pretty meaningful for the people who get the psychic reading.
How did you start? What happened in your life, or what was the track that got you onto doing the wonderful work that you're doing?
That's a good question. I was in high school and I started studying astrology like crazy. All through high school, I went to college, I went to law school even, and I've always just kind of had this interest in astrology. And so I was doing birth charts for people back before computers, back before the advent of computers. I would get out my books and my maps and pens and just kind of draft up someone's birth chart. Well, now, of course, you can do it online, and if you go to my website, you can do it for free. You can, pull up your own birth chart, which is in a little report about you, which is really interesting for understanding your characteristics and also your future and all of that. But I've been doing birth charts and astrology for many years. I'm 53 now, so I've probably been doing it for about 35 years. In 2008, I decided to open up a little shop where we could offer psychic readings on site and also sell things that kind of go along with psychic readings, like sage. People like to burn sage to get the negative energy out of their home. We sold crystals, books, tarot cards, things like that.
I understand in the state of Colorado, ever since they legalized marijuana, that sage sales are down and pot sales are up.
Oh, that's funny. Colorado does have, interestingly enough, they do have a nice selection of sacred sage growing out there. And of course, they have other great things growing out in Colorado too. But they do. It's a good place to find your sacred sage, which is just like the sage, the herb that we all know.
Yeah.
We dry it and wrap it in a bundle, and then if you burn that sage in your house, in your office, around your house, it can kind of send away the negative energy, the negative vibe that some people feel is just kind of hanging around. So it's just a good way to keep the energy around you moving, so that the new positive energy can come in.
Yeah, Craig was telling me in my earphone that he finds the same works with pot. Thanks a lot for that tidbit of information, there, Craig.
I think it does. I think he's right about that.
Oh, yeah.
I think pot works in the same way.
Yeah.
It's all from the herb family, right?
That's
it's
right.
All the any herb, yeah.
That's why it was called in the Indian days as wacky tobacco.
Yes, yeah. It's what they smoked in the peace pipe.
That's right. You nearly said pizza there, and I wonder if you could replace basil on a pizza.
I didn't know if I was saying pizza or peeps. Yeah, peace pipe.
All righty, getting back to the script here.
Sorry.
No,
fault.
don't be sorry. Don't be sorry.
I'm a Leo, so I'm a talker.
You're also a nice lady.
Oh, thanks. Thank you.
You're welcome, and that's that is very evident to the people that.
Thank you.
Now that can take me down an entirely different path. You shouldn't have said that. We'll leave that path alone. Okay, so you've got psychics, you've got numerologists, you've got palm readers, you've got astrologers.
Yes.
So somebody walks into
tarot card readers. Yeah.
Okay, so somebody walks into your shop. How do they know that? Now, I'm not doubting you at all here. All right, let me just put that little. How do they know that?
No, and it's okay to doubt.
Okay, so how does the person walking in know that you guys are legitimate? Because there's a lot of phonies out there.
Yes, that's true. There aren't a ton of phonies, but there are some people out there who think they're psychic and actually aren't that psychic. And there are in any state, country that I know of, there really are no regulations around this kind of business or criteria.
Oh,
so
wait a second there, young lady. Did you know in Canada, it is in the Canadian Criminal Code that telling fortune for a consideration, which is money, barter, or trade, is against the law?
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah. No, don't worry. So nobody enforces it, though.
The law to tell fortunes for money.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. But nobody enforces it, so don't worry.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I think that there are several ways to tell whether somebody's a legitimate psychic. And one is their rate of accuracy. Yeah. I mean, if you go into a psychic and they tell you, oh, you're a nice person, you were close with your grandparents, you've had some ups and downs recently, that's probably too generic. That's too simple of a reading. And that's, of course it's going to apply to you, but it applies to you in a very vague way. You want to hear, I've had psychics that work for me who say, I see a little yellow dog around you. It looks like a Pekingese. And I'm thinking, wow, how'd they guess Pekingese? I feel like I'm the only person in Ohio that has a Pekingese anymore since the 70s. So you want to find someone who can really nail that very specific information. I'd say you want them to be between 80, 90, 100% accurate on everything that they're telling you. And there are psychics who can do that. And you should be able to walk away from a psychic reading feeling very informed, empowered, and fascinated by it, really. The other way we definitely know whether a psychic is legit or not is by their return business. We have psychics who, anytime they're going to be in the shop, anytime they're scheduled to do readings, they get booked well in advance of the day they're going to appear. And they, word of mouth is great in, just kind of letting people know. The community just knows who the top psychics are. And they're always very, very busy. And then the other thing I like to tell people is whenever somebody asks for more money in order to receive more information, that to me sends up a flag. I don't like it when psychics, and it's a personal preference, of course, and I'm not saying that that's a bad psychic necessarily, but I don't love psychics who give you, 15 minutes of information and then say, oh, and I see this part of your chart that looks a little sticky. Now, for $100 more,
oh boy,
I can tell you how to resolve that. That to me is not ethical.
No, it's not.
And so, so I think if people are asked, I saw a psychic in Washington, D.C. in the Georgetown area, and of course, Mary Todd Lincoln is famous for having seen a psychic every Wednesday night in Georgetown when President Lincoln was in the White House, because they had 3 of their 4 sons die. And she was just desperate. They were depressed, and they were, of course, desperate to get in touch with their son in any way she could. So she was kind of a cool, forward-thinking woman, and she would go to see a psychic in Georgetown every Wednesday night. So anyway, that's kind of part of her legend. I went to see a psychic in Georgetown once, and sure enough, they asked me for more money if I wanted to go any further in the psychic reading, or if I wanted to know any more information than what she had already given me. And so, of course, I didn't pay it, and I said, no, thank you very much, I've got enough, and I left. But I've always, I don't know, I'm skeptical of people who pull you in and then instead of finishing your psychic reading right there for the price that they post or that they advertise, they ask for more money to get more information. So just kind of be leery of those types. But by far, the psychics that are in the field are really good people, have a lot of experience. They wouldn't be in business if they didn't have, repeat customers, because you really need to, like any business, I guess, you need to have repeat customers to stay in business. But in the psychic world, you're not going to have those unless you're good.
That makes sense, doesn't it now?
Yeah.
Plus, I guess a good, real psychic would know what you're sitting there thinking about them.
And a real psychic, yes. Yeah, they might. Now, that's the other interesting thing about psychics. They're not necessarily mind readers. A lot of people, and it's a very confusing, and it's also kind of a fine line and a funny line, but they're not necessarily mind readers. What psychics are doing is reading your energy. And the energy around you is sometimes coming through, or, we feel that it's coming through your spirit guides or just kind of your aura. And so psychics are reading the aura, the spirit guides, the energy around you, which, believe it or not, is not necessarily exactly what you're thinking at the moment. So there is a little bit of a distinction between mind reading and not that some psychics aren't, mind readers, and there are mind readers out there, I totally believe. But in the case of psychics, they're not necessarily, because I know I'd be a little nervous to sit down with someone and think, oh my gosh, are they sitting here reading everything I'm thinking about them? So they're not mind readers necessarily. They're just reading into your energy, into your aura, and then they either hear words or messages, they see messages, and in the case of the tarot cards, you're looking at cards and trying to interpret what the meaning of the cards is, because it's assumed that the cards that the client pulls are intended for that specific client.
You and
based on the energy that they're expelling.
You and I have to take our commercial break with the news at the bottom of the hour. Please stand by, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Exonation, Jennifer Lopez is our guest, and if you'd like to find out more about Jennifer and the Zodiac Shop, visit them online, www.zodiacshop.net. That's www.zodiacshop.net, and you can always watch Jennifer on reruns of American Idol. That's right. She's the one sitting up there with the other guys. We'll be back on the other side.
I love it.
We'll be back on the other side of this break as we continue here in the X Zone. Ooh, that was kinky. The other side of this break here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away.
Dreams are our personal gateways into infinite wisdom. Don't miss shamanic counselor and indigenously trained dream decoder Sandra Corcoran's inspiring book, Shamanic Awakening Between the Dark and the Daylight. This remarkable work chronicles Sandra's 35 years of experience with diverse wisdom keepers and her initiations throughout the Americas and across the British Isles, Turkey, Greece, and Egypt. Sandy's knowledge of symbology, psychology, and myth influence her dream blog and workshops. Sandy offers private tarot readings, international journeys, a meditative CD, as well as her book, Shamanic Awakening, to encourage you as you navigate this earth walk, creating a deeper connection to yourself and all that is. Find this and more at Sandy's website, starwalkervisions.com.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
How would you like to be able to read other people's minds? Well, the next best thing is here. When you know how to read a person's name, you know how the person thinks, feels, and behaves. Each letter in our name holds a key to unlock our true essence. Our name contains both our gifts and challenges in this lifetime. Mnemology science discovers personality secrets hidden in the placement of the letters of our names, including the first and last impression people remember about us. Sharon shows us how to interpret the arrangement of letters as outlined in her book, Know the Name, Know the Person. Sharon Lynn Wyeth created mnemology science after 18 years of research and testing her theories, and has supported thousands of people around the world in understanding themselves and others better. You'll enjoy Sharon's unique teachings as she shares her system to learn the gifts behind your given birth name. Even if you don't like your birth name, there are jewels in this book. If you're thinking of changing your name, ready to name your child, or wanting to get along better with others, this is the book for you. If you'd like to improve your relationships and change your life for the better, get the book today, Know the Name, Know the Person, or visit www.knowthename.com. That's www.knowthename.com.
Hello, I'm Justina Marsh, and with my dad Pete, we are going to present a new show called Too Good to Be True. Together, we are aiming to discover more truths about this world and beyond. Do you have unanswered questions about the world? Do you ever wonder about aliens, conspiracy theories, or the universe? There are many shows discussing subjects such as pyramids or UFOs, but we want to relay this information based on our own research, including from spiritual means. Hopefully, listeners will be helped with their own beliefs and will appreciate the psychic insights that add to the previous research and information. We both look forward to sharing this insight and beginning this journey with our listeners. Visit xzbn.net for more information about when to listen.
Exonation, Jennifer Lopez is our special guest. She is the owner, founder, and chief astrologer at the Zodiac Shop, www.zodiacshop.net. It must be hard sometimes for a psychic or a channel or a medium to sit there and deal with a person's grief. How do you?
Oh, I know.
How do you do it?
Well, it is difficult, and I'll tell you, a lot of mediums, the really best mediums there, out there, are almost like ministers or pastors in a church. I mean, they're very caring, kind, almost genteel people, and they really, because it's kind of the nature of their business, they have a deep understanding of, first of all, what happened, how the person passed, whether it was a difficult passing or whether it was, kind of the average part of life passing. And oftentimes it's been difficult, and that's why the person wants to come to a psychic. If somebody might, and I know this sounds very grim, but if somebody takes their own life, it's nice to know that they're okay now and that that they're in a better place. And very often they will come back and talk to their relative who's still here and assure them that they're okay and that they needed to move on, for one reason or the other. And so for whatever reason, I don't know, some people, it's kind of individual, of course, but some people find great comfort in hearing from family members who have passed in kind of tragic ways, or, an accident maybe, something like that. It's just nice to know that they're on the other side comfortably and, all happy and healthy again. That's a nice thing for a family. But, it's certainly not for all families. It's certainly not for all people. Some want to just kind of live and let live and not get in touch with anybody who's passed. I don't have, in my own experience, for example, anyone that I'm kind of curious about or wondering if they've passed okay. But I was close with my grandparents growing up, and it's always nice to kind of hear from them. It's nice when I have one grandmother in particular who continues to kind of tap in when I get a reading with a medium.
Right.
And I just love that. I love hearing from her. I love knowing that she's around somewhere and that she's kind of still hanging by me and watching over me, protecting me. How
does the medium know how to communicate with those on the other side? Or how does somebody on the other side know that a medium is trying to make that connection with them, because sitting there in front of the medium is someone who misses them deeply and who is hoping for that connection?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So, excuse me, it's we think, psychics, I think most psychics believe or think that our spirit guides, which often are the people who have passed on before us, are around us. And they're kind of trying to bring us messages. They want us to be happy. They want to give us hints about how to move forward in certain situations. And so if we can be able to tap into those hints and those messages, it can be pretty comforting. Excuse me. Sorry.
Sure. No problem.
And so a good medium is going to be able to really tap into your energy or to the client's energy where they should be able to find the person who's passed on, and then be able to get messages from them or communicate with them in some way.
How much of the information, or how much of the person's own belief system, it plays a part within the psychic reading or within the channel of the medium or whatever? Are you alive? Hello?
Sorry. Sorry. I'm coughing, so... Sorry about that.
You've got to give up smoking. No more smoking.
That's for sure. Sorry. Okay. Can you cut that out?
Nope.
Sorry about that.
It's all right. These things happen.
My daughters both have sore throats.
Uh-huh. Hello?
And I'm afraid now I'm getting one. Okay, sorry about that.
All right. So,
do you want to ask that again?
Well, I forgot what the question was.
I know. We were talking about mediums
Right.
and getting in touch with...
Right.
How do we know that we're getting in touch? How does a medium know
Yeah.
that they're getting in touch with somebody's spirit guide?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So they'll hear something. They can hear the messages. Sometimes they're clairvoyant. They can see messages. Like, let's say you're looking at the bark of a tree, and you can read messages into anything. That's what's kind of neat about a crystal ball.
Mm-hmm.
You look into a crystal ball, and it's like looking up at the clouds, where sometimes you look at a cloud and you see a poodle or a train or a tree or something. Well, it's the same thing with looking into a crystal ball, looking at the tarot cards, or just kind of gazing into the bark of a tree, or just anything works. And then seeing what kind of vision comes to you. And so some mediums will get a vision. Some of them will hear sounds, people talking, people discussing things, and that's where their messages are coming from.
How much of a person's own belief in life plays a part of this connection with those on the other side?
Yeah, I would love to know the answer to that as well. I'm sure that your belief in this kind of thing, or your spiritual foundation, has a lot to do with it. How much you're willing to accept or acknowledge. Of course, who knows what this is all about? Who knows if it's true or not? I don't think there's anybody trying to prove one way or the other, but there are people and have been people through history. I mean, Cleopatra had fantastic astrologers and psychics on her staff, I guess we'll call them court. Princess Diana had an astrologer and saw psychics frequently. I mentioned Mary Todd Lincoln before.
Well,
I think it's kind of a phenomenal.
If Lady Diana had astrologers or people that she talked to, that she didn't listen very well.
I don't know. That's a good question, isn't it? I'd love for them to write a book.
Exactly.
Nancy Reagan had an astrologer. Do you remember when the astrologer would come to the White House when the Reagans were in the White House sometimes?
Wasn't it Jane Dixon?
It wasn't Jean Dixon.
No way.
It was Joan Didion. But Jean Dixon was a great astrologer at the time. And Jean Dixon might have worked with the Reagans as well, but Joan Didion was the astrologer that came to the White House on pretty frequently, and she ended up writing a book about it, which was fascinating. I loved it. But, she talked about Ronald Reagan being an Aquarius and Mikhail Gorbachev being a Pisces and what that meant for their peace talks. And Nancy Reagan was a Cancer, and Cancers and the other water signs, Scorpio and Pisces, tend to be really open to this kind of thing. They feel like the water signs seem to be, fairly spiritual and psychic themselves. And so they tend to be open. So even though Nancy Reagan had a reputation of being kind of an old, stuffy person, and of course a very conservative person, because she was a Cancer, I don't think she could help herself but to kind of get involved and lean the way of the spiritual world. And then I think the two signs that are probably the most skeptical of this kind of thing would be Capricorns and Sagittarians, in my experience.
So tell me, where besides your place is the best place to get a psychic reading?
That's a great question. I would, I know I keep saying that's a great question. Most major cities and some small towns have psychics. And that's something that I really enjoy whenever I travel. If I'm, even when I've been in Canada, I've had a psychic reading in Toronto. You can always kind of just Google psychic near me, and you'll be able to see lots and lots of reviews of the local psychics and, which ones seem to be the better of the psychics in the area. And so, if I'm traveling to New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and the same with the cities up in Canada. There's always going to be, I think, a phenomenal selection of psychics. And again, it's good to know, and this isn't really common knowledge, but it's good to know the difference between the psychic readers, because a palm reading is really going to get you different information from a medium.
So would it be like going to a doctor? You see one doctor who's a podiatrist,
yes.
you see another ophthalmologist, and then you see your GP.
Kind of,
Gotcha.
yeah. They're all doctors. They could all help you. They all could give you a basic understanding of what you need, but some of them are going to, if you've got the foot issue, it'd be a great idea to go to a podiatrist. That's a good analogy.
You have a great sense of humor. I can tell that.
Thank you.
Has there ever been a time that you've been doing a reading and you have been privy to something that has just made you buckle down and laugh, a good belly laugh in front of a client?
This question is funny. I'm trying to think if there have been any particular things that are funny. I don't know. I don't know if there's been anything that's been that hilarious, but there are many, many interesting stories.
Can you tell us a few? Can you share a few with us?
Yeah, let me think. So there are, of course, in the medium world, there are people who love to get in touch, or those are the people who want to get in touch with people in their lives who have passed. And there's just a lot of meaningful stories where I have a client whose daughter died as a teenager. And it's just been, this is probably 3.5 years ago now, but she still is in tears almost every day about it, because it's just a really hard thing for her to get past. And she has seen psychics who I've just kind of recommended to her off and on,
right?
who have brought her really a lot of comfort. They've brought her daughter. They'll come and say, a couple of her readings will say, I'm seeing the number 3. I'm seeing the number 3, and her daughter's birth date was the 3rd, and her favorite number was a 3, and there's all kinds of 3s that ring true for her.
Right.
So I think more than funny stories that come out are just kind of meaningful stories where people are getting in touch with their spirit guides in a really kind of nice way. It can get a little sticky sometimes. I've not experienced this, but I have psychics who work with us who have experienced other psychics coming to get a reading and trying to read the psychic. And that gets a little tricky because I have one psychic who
All right, we've got to take our final break here, my dear friend.
Okay.
Please stand by. Explanation. Jennifer Lopez, the owner, founder, and chief of astrologers, is our very special guest. She is at the Zodiac Shop, www.zodiacshop.net, and Jennifer and I will be back as we wrap up this hour here in the X Zone from our broadcast center in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies.
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows.
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, this product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A Soul Balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today, www.soulbalancing.world. There's a legend shared by many indigenous cultures of a time when the nations were cast to the 4 corners of the world. Each nation was given a body of sacred knowledge that held a different portion of the truth to preserve. True reality could not be known until all the nations reunited, combining the information. If a single one was missing, the world could not be reborn and darkness would prevail. The Science of Magic Radio is dedicated to reuniting the sacred knowledge. With the understanding, none of us has all the answers, but together we can open new perceptions and possibilities. Through our combined vision, the world can be reborn into a place where darkness no longer prevails. Join me, Gwilda Wiyaka, and the Science of Magic daily on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, xzbn.net, or visit us at thescienceofmagic.net.
Welcome back, everyone. Our guest this hour is Jennifer Lopez, owner, founder, and chief astrologer at the Zodiac Shop, www.zodiacshop.net. First of all, Jennifer, I want to thank you so much for joining us. It's been a great hour talking to you, informative, educational,
Thank you.
Best of all,
Likewise.
entertaining. Thank you.
Thank you.
Listen, if I was to hire you to come with me to a casino,
Yes.
would I be wasting my money?
This is a great question. We get, again, another great question. No, you wouldn't be wasting your money, but here's what I say about the numbers. Because lots of people come in and they want to know, what are the numbers? What are the numbers? It's not, the good luck is not tied to the numbers. Mm-hmm. It's tied to the person. So it's tied to the gambler. So, for example, right now, the stars are aligned so that certain zodiac signs have extremely good money luck. Virgo, Capricorn's having good luck right now, Libras, Leos, and long-term money luck goes to Aquarians. So if you're any of those signs that I just mentioned, I would say you're probably likely to have good luck at the casinos. The luck follows the person because it depends on what's going on in your astrology. Where are the planets aligned? Where are the stars aligned on any given day? And that alignment can bring somebody, great fame, great wealth, all kinds of things. That's where your fortune comes from, or your horoscope comes from. And so I really recommend that if money is in your stars, and that's why it's good to read your horoscope and see a psychic or an astrologer once in a while. If money is in your stars, if it's shining brightly in your stars, that's a good time to gamble. That's a good time to gamble at the casino, but it's also a good time to gamble on a risk at work, or ask for a pay raise, or find money in the couch. If the stars are aligned in your financial house, which is our second house to be technical about it, but if there's a lucky planet or some stars aligned in your financial house, it's going to be a good money time for you, a good money year for you.
So tell me, how do the stars know, and how do they affect us in such a way that a talented person like yourself can actually figure all this out?
Yeah, it's first and foremost, it's the energy. So, everything is energy. I think even Albert Einstein said everything is energy. So the planets are energy, the stars are energy, we as people are energy. And so it's the energy that is kind of finding its way to us from the various kind of star planet alignments as they move across the universe every minute. And so it's just really a matter of how our energy as a human body, and it applies to animals too, and trees and anything that's living. It's just all about how our energy is connecting with the energy of the stars and the planets. And the ancient people originally identified the connection, and I think probably cave people, really early people, because there weren't computers, of course, back then, or even books or anything. It was they just had the sky, and that was kind of like their computer. Yeah. And they started noticing that whenever Jupiter, the big, huge, beautiful planet Jupiter, is kind of transitioning or moving through a horoscope sign, a certain horoscope sign, the members of that horoscope sign are having a good day or a good year. And I think that happened often enough over hundreds of years that ancient people became ancient astrologers and decided, wow, Jupiter really has this nice positive energy when it's coming through, one's horoscope sign. Conversely, the planet Saturn, which of course is that cool planet with the ring around it, it has almost the opposite effect. When Saturn is going through a horoscope sign, and there are 12 horoscope signs, it can be a bumpy road for the people of that horoscope sign. Excuse me. So right now, for example, Saturn is traveling through the zodiac sign of Sagittarius. And it is a kind of a rocky time for Sagittarians. It's going to be another maybe 9 months until they can put this behind them. But they can rest assured it will be behind them soon, and their life will lift up immensely when it does. But Saturn, when it's moving through a horoscope sign, can really create some difficulty. So it's just each planet has kind of some characteristics associated with it. And, Venus, of course, has love associated with it, but also money. And Venus happens to be your ruling planet. It's the ruling planet of both Taurus and Libra. And so it means that you're good with relationships and you're also good with money. So I think each planet kind of signifies or has characteristics that are interesting and that affect us based on when we're born and through life. And these things were discovered, thousands of years ago.
Let me ask you this. People say that the soul is energy, that when someone dies, the energy does not go with the remains. So
Yes.
if the soul is energy, can you therefore do a horoscope on someone who has passed using their energy?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And, I think that that happens a lot. I mean, if somebody's passed, it's still very valuable to look at their birth chart, where all the planets were aligned when they were born. It's really, a birth chart is really our destiny. It's kind of our destiny written down on a chart, and it looks really intimidating at first. And I think, again, if you go to my website or just any website and Google, birth chart, and you put in your birth date and when you were born, what time, if you have it, you'll see some neat information about your life. And if you can find an astrologer who can interpret your birth chart for you, it's really fascinating. I almost wish they do it in school for the kids, just for something fun to do, because it's a fascinating thing to see your birth chart and then just see, what does it mean? Have somebody interpret it for you. What does it mean when Venus was in Taurus when you were born? That kind of thing.
You need a learner's permit to drive a car, but you don't get a learner's permit when it comes to life. It's basically do or die. How can having an astrologer do your chart help you in business?
Okay, so how do you get an astrologer? I said astrologers. Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. How can an astrologer help you with your business? Your business has so many variables.
Yes, great question. So there's a couple of things in play here. One would be they'd look at your chart and they would see, are you personally a good business person? Okay. I mean, some horoscope signs are going to be great business people while others are not. So the earth signs, which is you, your partner who's in the studio right now, a Capricorn, and then the third earth sign is Virgo. Those three signs are known to be phenomenal business people. I think Cancer females are known to be phenomenal business people. People who can kind of, there are zodiac signs that are good, that are better than others at dotting the I's and crossing the T's. And, instinctively too, signs like Pisces have phenomenal instincts. So that, of course, is going to make you a good business person. And then another component is to, in addition to looking at the person, the business person himself or herself, is to look at the astrology in play during the year that you open your business, or the week that you're operating in right now. So what an astrologer will do is kind of tie in your birth chart and what planets have affected you or are influencing you to the energy of the planets in the current day. And, so if, for example, if you have a business and you're a Taurus, I know that you happen to be a Taurus, and there are Jupiter and Venus and a lot of good planets lined up in your money house, your second house, which for you would be Gemini. And I'm going to say that there's a new moon in Gemini this week now that I'm sitting here thinking about it. So that is actually true, that you should have a pretty good financial week this week. But no.
What you're saying is that my wife will have a good financial week this week.
Well, yeah. Regardless, I mean, this is there's a new moon this week on Thursday, I believe. The new moon is going to be in Gemini, and a new moon and a full moon are both obviously carry with them some significant energy and special energy, I guess I should say. And the new moon is the moon under which, it's the one we never pay attention to because it's all dark. It's totally covered up. But then it comes every 2 weeks, just like the full moon does. And when the new moon, when there's a new moon, like there will be this Thursday, the ancients believed that was the wishing moon. That's the magic moon. That's the moon under which we say our prayers and manifest what we want to come to us. It's kind of a special moon. And so because the new moon happens to be in the sign of Gemini this month, which is this Thursday, it'll be new in Gemini. Gemini is the second house of Taurus. It's the second sign over from yours. and the second house represents money and wealth and financial security. So having a new moon in your house of money and wealth and financial security is auspicious for you.
Hey, listen, I hate to do this to you, my friend. You and I have to say so long for now. We'll have you back on in the future. But you knew that since you're a psychic. And listen, thank you so much for joining us. A great pleasure talking to you in Exonation. If you'd like to find out more about Jennifer, visit her online at www.zodiacshop.net. I'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.